Welcome back.
That was a nice long one.
Yeah, well, that's what she said. No.
I'm not going anywhere near that.
Anybody else?
Did I actually say
And Art
that?
lives at.
Yeah. Send your letters
Send
to.
your letters.
He was talking about cigars.
I was talking. Exactly. Moose, thanks for bailing my butt out.
Hey,
And
boss,
that's a
I'm
nice
right
butt
there
to
with
bail
you.
out. At any rate, good to see you all. Everybody have a good week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Any exciting activities?
No.
I caught a fish.
How about like going to downtown Quakertown and watching the A&P truck unload? Yeah. At 10 o'clock after they rolled the sidewalks up?
Is that all the excitement there is to have in Quakertown?
No, there's some other things in Quakertown you could do, like visit our store and buy some cigars.
You
yeah.
could buy some
Yeah.
cigars and sit and smoke them.
Sit and
Yeah,
smoke them.
that's true.
And if you're lucky, Jeff will come out and say hello to you. Okay.
So what are we smoking today?
Looks like we're smoking a Gloria Series S, which I have to admit I have not smoked yet.
None of us have.
None of us have.
It's
It
a
is
very new cigar, yeah.
I presume we can light them now?
Yes,
can.
and it's got two firsts about it. The Series S is the first La Gloria of any kind to use a Mexican San Andres wrapper.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
And equally interesting, this cigar comes in both a natural and a Maduro version.
I'm guessing
both
this is not the natural.
This is the Maduro, but both of them use a Mexican San Andres wrapper.
Interesting.
But only one of them's a Maduro.
Right, the other one's a natural.
Correct.
The other
Smells delicious.
unusual thing, so it's got a San Andres wrapper, it's got a Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan, Dominican, and African filler.
This is way too much for me. Can you do that again?
What's interesting to me about the African part of the filler is that in their descriptive material, they don't say Cameroon,
Yeah.
they just say African.
What other tobacco comes from Africa?
Well, funny you should ask.
Funny I should ask.
There is a country in Africa that historically produced a lot of cigarette tobacco and in the last few years has begun to produce some cigar tobacco. The first company to use it was actually Christoph, and they used it in a cigar they called Guardrail.
Yeah.
It's from Zimbabwe. So,
Certainly a peaceful,
yeah, nice, you could call
tranquil
it,
country.
you could call it conflict tobacco.
Conflict tobacco. Oh, be careful.
But yeah, Zimbabwean, I guess that's why they just say African, because Zimbabwean is hard to say and
Yeah.
takes up too much room.
Tougher to spell.
Wow. This is the smallest version.
This is the small version.
This is the small version of the cigar.
What's the big version? 9 by 90?
It's huge.
Well, this ain't exactly for the faint of heart
This
either.
is a 56 or a 58.
Well, I think it's more like a 58 at
That is
least.
What's it say?
strong
Paul, do
cigar.
you still have the wrapper
Yeah.
in front of you? Not the cellophane, I mean.
Yeah.
Does it give it the
Yeah,
size?
it might on the barcode. Definitely not 56
No, it's got to be a 58.
or 60 even.
No, it's not.
Not
I
a
don't think it's a
60?
60. Yeah, it might be.
It's a
It's
60.
big.
It might be a 60.
It is a 60.
Yeah.
Holy crap! And that's this. Like I said, this is a small version.
It's a 6 by 60.
Doesn't look like it.
It does. Yeah,
It
think-
looks
you know
like
what?
less than a 6, actually, but it's 6
Actually,
by
looks
60.
looks like a 6.5 or 6.25. I think, but that's just me. I don't know. You know what's throwing me off is the size of the band. The band is
It makes the
massive.
cigar look smaller
It
because
does.
half of it is under band.
They put the band back together.
Yeah.
What band?
Blues.
What band?
What band? This is one of the prettier Maduro wrappers I've seen
Yeah.
lately.
And it's really, really dark.
This is like
Yeah,
a
it's
full.
really good.
Yeah. It's also very tasty.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
It's actually not as strong as I thought it would be.
I suspect it's going to get
It's
there
gonna
pretty
get there. I
quick.
think it's
I
gonna
think
get, yeah.
you're probably right. You're probably right.
You know,
I would
I am
consider-
so unused to smoking 60 ring cigars
It's hard
that
to
I
like.
can't get it.
Yeah, yeah, I know. You're doing you're running the same thing I run.
I'm fine with it.
This is your wheelhouse.
This is my will.
This is a cigar that should be lit with a soft flame. It's hard. It's really hard to get it.
or with a really big flame.
big blowtorch.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what I should have lit it with. Here, let me round it off.
Well, it might be a little hard to light, but once it's lit, the payoff is there.
Oh, no. It's definitely. What do these cigars retail for?
This cigar is $8.49.
Get out of town.
Yeah. Actually, I just took it out of the box.
Very reasonably priced
Wow.
for a 6x60
Yeah.
from a major brand.
This
Unless-
is a major.
unless we marked it
Gloria
wrong.
Cubana is a major brand. That just doesn't sound right.
Unless
He's- You just drove him to 110 rating.
yeah.
No, I'm going
With
to
that
go out.
price?
I'm going to go out and check the inventory and make sure we priced them right because it just doesn't sound right.
Remember, that manufacturer, you use the MSRP.
Yeah, this is wow. Can we go higher than 10 in the rating?
That's what I said you were going to
I
go
know,
100.
because price matters.
It does not matter. It's how
Abs-
you use it.
Okay. And if
Come on,
this
that's
cigar,
funny.
and if this
You
cigar
guys
was,
didn't get it.
if this cigar, yeah, I get it. If this cigar was $19 as opposed to $8.49,
Yeah. I would give it the same rating because his rating has nothing. Start this all over again.
our customers and friends,
It's been a while since this arguments had been had on the show, so he's just,
Catching up.
He's educating the customers that haven't heard
I'm going to
this
have a
argument.
special sound device installed in this room when you shoot the shows. And when I watch, now that I can see it on Facebook Facebook Live, I'm just going to say, price matters. Price matters.
Just
It's
a disembodied voice.
Yeah, a subtle hint. Price matters.
The unknown
We
smoker.
can have Piz put a Chiron on the bottom.
Yeah, price
Price
matters.
matters.
Yeah.
Not in the rating, it doesn't.
But in the smoking and buying, it does.
Yes.
Yes,
No,
the,
I
the first consideration is always the flavor and taste of the
no,
cigar.
absolutely. No,
And the
I
way it's
wouldn't
made.
question that. But
But the price does add some value to that rating.
$8.49 instead of $19, yeah, that should bump it up a little.
Yeah.
No. The price is whether you would buy it or not. It has nothing to do with the rating. I can give a cigar a 9.75. That's the rating of the cigar. Now, it's your choice whether you buy it for the $19 or for the $8.75. That has nothing to do with the rating.
Okay, I'll do this live on air here.
Go ahead.
Are you a gambling man?
Uh-oh.
Yes, I am.
This is not going to end
This
well.
is not going to end well for me because it never does.
Where's that $5 bill?
You did win once.
I won once.
Okay, here's the deal. The next 100 customers that come into this store, we're going to put the question to them. Suppose it was a really nice cigar and you liked the taste and it was really good. And the cigar was $20 versus $6 or $7.
Yeah.
Would you think that, and if you liked it, would you think that the $6 or $7 is a better value and overall adds to the charm of the cigar as opposed to $20? And I guarantee you, more than 50% will say, I'm right and you're wrong.
That has nothing to do with the value of the
It's the
cigar. We're not
rating.
talking
Alright,
value.
alright.
We're talking rating of the
Overall,
cigar.
okay, I'll phrase the question thusly. If you were rating the cigar after smoking it, now you just smoked it, you like it, nice cigar, and I told you the price was $20 or the price was, say, $8, would you give it a higher rate? We'll do it just like we do it here. Would you give it a higher rating because it's a value in the price? More than 50% will say yes.
No, then they're wrong.
No,
can't help it if they're wrong.
To be wrong, then you need a majority. If the majority says that's right,
That's not a
then
fact
you're
at
wrong.
all. That's not a fact at all.
You
Put
need
your
a
money where your mouth
majority.
is.
There's
to be
nothing.
wrong.
Just because 50% of the something it makes it right. That doesn't make it right.
With you, I'm willing to lower
We
my
see this in
standards.
politics
We
all
could-
the time.
We could make this a $5 bet.
You're not getting one more of my dollars.
You were such an easy mark.
No. Price has nothing to do with rating.
Well,
Nothing.
I will say one thing. I was able to get my cigar lit the first time.
That's
Mine's
because you're
burning-
used to it.
Mine's burning very well.
Yeah.
Very well made. And I find a lot of new cigars that come out, after you light it and you get a few draws through it, it starts getting soft, doesn't pass the pinch
Why do you
test.
think that is, Moose?
But this one isn't.
Yeah.
Yep. This is not an under-over.
Yeah.
And it's a really quality cigar at a really value price.
And I am a fan of the, Gloria Cubano's
Yeah.
other cigars. I like
Yeah.
them. This is the best one I've had.
How come, Paul, you can probably answer this. How come they don't categorize mini cigars anymore as oscuro?
Because they use Maduro methodology
Yeah.
to make it a squirrel.
But that's
so they just
clearly-
call it Maduro.
It's clearly black.
Yeah, I mean, this is
20
truly
years ago,
what
they
an
would have been
oscuro
called
would
oscuro.
be.
Yes, absolutely. I've always wondered.
It's the same color as his cup.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
run
really.
this over.
It's almost
Hopefully
exactly
not.
the same color.
Yeah, I mean, this is oscuro.
They don't call it Mexican black tobacco for nothing.
That's correct. Now,
And I'm not.
I expected this to be a real powerhouse, real strong, and it's definitely not the other way. But it's not kicking my butt like I thought it might.
It's well blended.
Yes.
It's
Well,
got good balance. The sweetness of the wrapper comes through.
Yeah.
There's some really substantive spice
Yeah.
to it, not over the
That's
top.
the thing. I'm not getting any of the one thing over another. It's that well blended. It's just real smooth. It's full bodied, yes.
I don't.
But,
In the retrohale, I'm not getting that kick your butt.
Yeah, I'm not getting. I don't think it's full bodied,
I
but I
don't
think
think-
it's very full flavored.
Yeah, full flavor.
Okay.
and probably a nice medium body.
I think the nicotine is going to ramp up as we go.
Maybe
pretty
so, as it burns.
significantly.
Possibly.
It's got the taste of tobacco with a lot of nicotine in it.
But now that you lit it, it's becoming very oily.
Yeah.
Which is characteristic of their stuff. That happens a
You
lot.
look for 849. I mean, sometimes
Ooh, I finally
companies
got
come
a
out
taste
with
of something.
yeah.
Chocolate.
Now this is
There's
made by
chocolate in there.
Dark chocolate.
Doctor. This is made by a very big company, and I'm always amazed when these companies can come out with really value priced cigars that are really of this quality.
They can.
And
yeah.
if history is any indication, not only are they really good and at a really good price, they're going to be consistent
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
La Glorias are.
for sure. Yeah, I'm amazed. I mean, when you said 849, I almost fell off the chair. Well, the heritage of La Gloria is certainly, this adds to it. I mean, Ernie used to make, it still does under his own company, some really tasty cigars. And he was never known for being much on the mild side.
No.
I wonder if he had anything to do with this. That would be interesting. Probably not.
I
I'm
don't
just
think
saying,
so.
but I wonder if he would come back and do something for them.
It's been over 20 years since they
I
brought him
think
out.
he did come
Yeah.
back and do something
Did a
for them.
collaboration?
Yeah. I forget which one it was, but I'm pretty sure he did one with them.
All right, shall we go around the table and get our first impressions? Moose? This should be right in your wheelhouse.
The size, yeah, definitely. It's burning wonderfully. Great amount of smoke, which is what you always want.
Sure.
You don't have to puff hard on it.
No?
As I said earlier, I'm getting dark chocolate, and I can't tell what kind, but I'm getting a little nuttiness from it too. That's about. I'm surprised and happy.
Yeah, yeah. Paul?
There are a couple of things going on with this cigar that I find very interesting. First of all, the flavors are great. There's
Yeah.
that little bit of spice. I also get almost a fruit note, like pear or plum. I can't tell which. But I think there's a lot of Secco in this blend.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is normally a cigar at about this strength level with this kind of wrapper on it would have you salivating
Yeah,
a lot,
yeah.
and this one isn't. And that's what Secco tobacco does. It keeps you from over salivating.
Yeah.
I just hate it when you drool over a cigar.
I hate that too.
What can I say?
In fact, I hate it when I drool at all.
This is a tremendous cigar. It really is.
Oh, it's only 6 by 6.
It's,
What are the other
it's
sizes?
the only
Bigger.
drawback. Bigger.
They're not crazy ones like 80s or anything
Yeah, no,
like
no,
that.
no. They're not that
But
big.
if you think of
Like
like,
s-
the
seven.
Series R's,
Right.
the
There's
number
a
7,
yeah.
the number
Yeah,
6,
yeah.
like
That's
that.
a 70, yeah.
I'm getting a very good sweetness from this because of the wrapper.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm getting the dark chocolate through the mouth and through the retrohale. Both.
The retrohale is
both
really
ends.
pleasant.
Yes, it's very
really
good.
pleasant.
And I'm not. I'd be hard pressed to call this a medium-bodied cigar.
You think it's upscale from that?
I think it's less than that.
Oh, less. Okay.
I
don't
would. I would
disagree with
say. I would say a 2.
I would be very interested to taste this cigar in a small ring gauge.
Yes, the
I think
a
it would be
Robusto would be awesome.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you. Call it medium body, call it whatever you want, but it has a lot of taste. Good
Yeah.
retrohale, generates smoke, burns evenly.
It's
And
also interesting to me that it's very, even though it's an oily wrapper, it doesn't look so oily. It looks like a matte finish.
Yeah.
But if you look along the burn line, there's plenty of oil there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to ask you a fascinating question.
Okay.
I have found throughout history dark cigars, Maduro, Escoro, I mean real ones, not painted ones, real ones, are harder to light and keep even.
That's because of the extra oil that occurs in that kind of tobacco.
That's what I thought. Okay.
The oilier it is, the harder it is
Yeah.
to get it
Keep-
to burn
yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
I was able to straighten this one out.
I say I'm not having any problem with the burn at all.
No.
None whatsoever.
And even though I had to touch it up a little bit,
It's a nice white ash,
Yeah.
too.
The retrohale is so good.
yeah, amazing.
It really is good.
The retrohale is nothing what you expect when you see
No,
the cigar.
not at all.
No.
I'm not getting any of that, like over the top full bodiness from what you would think of it by looking at it. Like most customers come in and say, "Oh, that's too heavy, that's too
Yeah.
dark, blah blah blah." Not at all from
This
this
is
cigar.
not too heavy at all.
No.
Well, that's
Not at all.
the one
The
thing I tell
mistake-
customers when they come into the store is a rule of thumb is the lighter the wrapper, the lighter the cigar, the darker the wrapper, the stronger the cigar.
Right.
But I always say it's not a hard and fast rule.
No.
It's just a rule of
It just
thumb.
works out that
and
way.
As
Yeah.
a rule, that ends when you get to Maduro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even though it's darker, Maduros aren't
Well,
necessarily
one of
stronger.
my
They should be
top
sweet.
10 cigars is a Maduro, but it's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sweet
A
Maduro.
good
relatively
Maduros have a
inexpensive,
sweet
yeah.
finish.
Yeah.
The finish should leave the tip of your tongue and the sides of your tongue coated with a nice sweet taste. A nice, you know.
One of the
Natural sugars are a fundamental part of what makes a Maduro a Maduro.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, a little bit of education. The word Maduro actually means ripe.
Ripe.
And to make a Maduro, it's not the color, it's a process. And the process involves leaving the leaves on the plant longer so they get riper. That means they spend more time in the sun, they do more photosynthesis, and they produce more sugar. So when you go to ferment that leaf, the yeast that does the fermentation has more to eat, because that's what yeast does. It eats sugar and gives you flavor.
That's how they make certain alcohol, certain drinks.
And it's how they make sauerkraut. It's how they make any fermented food,
I don't like sauerkraut.
but it lives on natural sugar.
Yeah.
All of them live on natural sugar,
I know a lot of humans that way too.
but they're in shape.
The shape is the size.
Well, round is a shape.
Right,
Round is the shape, yeah.
I knew it was something like
And people who eat too much natural sugar might be round.
that. Oh, God.
One of the best Maduros out there is the Ashton Maduro,
The aged Maduro.
the aged Maduro. I think this is better.
And cheaper.
I
Less expensive.
I tend to believe that Mexican Maduros are the best Maduro wrappers on the market right now. It used to all be, Connecticut broadleaf.
yeah.
And They really started experimenting with other Maduro wrappers when, in the year that they, I want to say it was 98, there was a really bad blue mold outbreak in Connecticut, and virtually the entire crop was eliminated.
Yeah.
So they started looking at Pennsylvania broadleaf, they looked at Brazilian Maduro, and they looked at Mexican Maduro, and all of those are in use today. But I think out of all of them, Mexican Maduro is the best.
And that's primarily
Yeah.
from one family.
It's from the Torrent
Yep.
family.
Yeah.
Good people.
Actually, one of the cigars on that's going to be coming up in our pack show uses a Pennsylvania broadleaf wrapper. That's really tasty. So watch the show, you'll see.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
There are
Since
things.
I'm not on it.
There are
You're not.
things going on in broadleaf. Historically, you didn't see broadleaf in the big tobacco growing countries like Nicaragua or the Dominican Republic or Honduras, or Ecuador for that matter. You don't see broadleaf from down there either. And one of the primary reasons for that is broadleaf tobacco grows low. It's not the 8-foot high that you're used to seeing, which means from a labor standpoint, it's a big nuisance. The people that do the harvesting have to work bent over instead of standing up. So the farm workers in most of these countries don't want to deal with broadleaf at all. That's beginning to change. Who was it? Alec Bradley just recently introduced a cigar. They call it a double broadleaf because both the wrapper and the binder
Right.
are broadleaf, but they're broadleaf grown in Honduras, which is a first.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not known for Maduro.
And they're finding shorter people to work in the fields.
Well, they're all pretty short to begin with, actually, especially in Nicaragua.
That could be the nutrition.
Just add something to the flavor profile. I'm picking up citrus.
That's funny because I just got a blast of cinnamon.
Yeah, I'm tasting the cinnamon too.
Yeah, I'm picking up a
You don't
little
like cinnamon.
citrus,
No cinnamon.
like lemon.
I've seen a lot of Pennsylvania Maduro, or dark, or whatever, and unless it's just me, the wrappers don't seem to be as smooth with Pennsylvania.
There's more tooth to them,
Yeah.
and they can be a little lumpy.
Yeah, not that that changes the taste.
No, and they don't have big veins. It just tends to be a little lumpy and a little
Yeah.
toothy.
Well, I have found, especially in the last, I guess, 10 or 15 years, Brazilian Maduro is quite tasty as well.
Yes, it is, and there are a lot of companies using it now.
yeah,
This company uses it. This company uses it.
yeah.
Well, yeah, CAO has two different cigars
Yeah.
with Brazilian wrappers. There's
BX3,
the BX3, which is
very good.
all
cigar.
kinds of Brazilian tobacco in it,
Yeah,
but also the CAO
Brasilia.
Brasilia.
Brasilia, yeah, which is quite popular.
Yeah.
Really enjoying the cigar.
If it was a little smaller, I would smoke it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
you can tell this is a really good cigar because there's moments of silence on the panel.
Yeah.
We're enjoying the cigar. It's like when you used to watch when Harry and Richie were broadcasting the Phillies game, you had periods of silence where you could hear one guy on the pipe, one guy on the cigar,
Yeah.
but they let you watch the game. You actually got to view the game. I watched the game recently in Florida. I don't know who was playing, but there were two women announcers, and they didn't stop talking. You're watching the game.
I find
the guy
it no
just
matter-
got beamed in the head, and they didn't say a word. They just kept talking.
I find that the announcers on all ball games, no matter what team
They talk too
were,
much.
they just
You know,
talk too much.
That was the genius of Vince Scully.
Yeah.
He just let the game unfold, and you watched it. You don't need to know that the guy just got a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, you tell the guy.
Presumably
you
you
just
can
say
see
it. You
that.
can say it. You know, well, you know.
I suppose you're visually impaired.
No. Then you're
Dan,
listening to the
you're
radio.
probably listening to the
Yeah,
game.
listening to the game. I'd rather listen to the game than watch it anyway.
Nowadays, with some of these broadcasters, it's awful.
Ah,
Really awful.
no. The Phillies broadcasters are absolutely tremendous.
Well, I like watching or listening to the Phillies on the radio.
Yeah.
better than I do watching them on TV.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Because
more
the announcers on radio
Scott Fransky,
and
L.A.
L.A.
Oh, LA.
They're
Yeah.
the best. They are
Yeah.
really, really good.
Out of all the announcers that the Phillies have, those guys,
Yeah, I listen to it all
the whole
time.
time they're talking, they're just talking about baseball.
Yeah.
They're not talking about, their kids or, whatever.
Although I miss Mrs. Malamud just sent in
Yeah.
three steak sandwiches. Okay, Harry, let's
Yeah.
eat.
And I miss Harry Cowles lighting up his cigar. You can hear the,
you
you
can
can hear
hear
the
it.
big
Yeah,
lighter going off in the background.
yeah.
Hysterical.
Well, that reminds me of the days when I used to go to the games with my dad when he was a reporter.
Oh yeah.
He'd
yeah.
walk into the press box and there'd be a chair for me next to him. And every chair had a typewriter, go figure,
And an ashtray.
and an ashtray.
Yep.
By the end of the game, those trays were full.
Full.
And we're talking ashtrays like this.
Yeah.
Now, were any of them smoking cigars, or were they just
All of
smoking
them.
cigarettes?
Yeah,
no,
all were
really, no
smoking
cigarettes.
There was a couple of cigarette smokers, but back then, everybody
Yeah.
wanted to be the hard charging reporter,
They chewed them.
Yeah,
That's
they did.
cool.
They chewed the hell out of them.
That's cool.
But yeah, that was one of my biggest memories as a kid growing up. Is everybody sitting in the press box and everybody had a cigar. The cloud rolling out of there was phenomenal.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Speaking of chewing, if you like chewing your cigars, this is definitely a good one for it.
Yes.
It's firm enough, it's big enough, and it
Fully-
doesn't get
fully
soggy.
packed. Might as well continue that whole
Firm, fully packed.
Moose, why don't you lead us off and put a score on it?
I don't do this very often. I've only done it twice before the whole time I've been on the show. A 10.
Wow.
Wow.
I like it that much.
Wow.
A 10.
Nice.
That's very rare.
Yeah.
Paul?
I like all the flavors. I like everything about this cigar. I would give it a 9.5, and if I was going to consider the price, I would give it a 9.75. I said if.
That's a shame.
I said if.
Yeah, there's nothing.
He's
There's,
learned. He's
yeah,
very
there's
intelligent.
yeah, okay.
Go ahead. Now you.
This is now you.
That's terrible.
Now you go. Yeah, the only drawback on this cigar, for me, is the size.
Yep.
It's a tremendous cigar. It really, really is. I give this a 9.5 also. I think it's really, really good.
I think this may be the best La Gloria
Yes,
of any kind.
absolutely.
That
I
I've had.
agree.
Well, we're running out of time, so as for me, I go with the 975. It's a great cigar, and because of the price, it's a tremendous cigar. So just want to remind you, go to our online presence and save a lot of money, cigarsamplers.com.
Yep.
Cigarsamplers.com.
Where the cigars
Are
are
the
the
stars.
stars.
And until next week, we appreciate you frequenting our stores, especially up here and down in Florida. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye
Welcome
for
if you
now.
got
Ciao for now,
Smoke
everybody.
often and smoke happy.